Welcome to the Discover Montcalm podcast, where we're going to take a look at the communities, the businesses, the attractions, and the people that make up Montcalm County. Here is your podcast host, Dwayne Weed.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Discover Montcalm podcast, where we're promoting the businesses, the communities, the attractions, and the people. I have Fred and Cheryl here with us today, and we're going to talk about the Panhandle Community Fund. Do I have that right?
Montcalm Panhandle Community Fund, correct.
Montcalm Panhandle, okay. Before we get into that, let's get a little background on the two of you. You have both grown up in the Panhandle area of Montcalm County, went to Tri-County High School, and I understand the two of you graduated the same year.
We did.
So you've been, and you said what, from kindergarten?
Yep.
From kindergarten. They've known each other for a while. Wow. Cheryl, tell me a little bit about your family history, just kind of give us an overview of growing up here and what it was like as a child coming up through adulthood here.
I grew up on a farm west of Howard City. My dad and mom moved to the area just before I was born. So I've been I now live 1 road mile from that family farm. And my dad was a dairy farmer and retired from that. And then Rich and I got married in the 80s and started our own business here in Howard City. So growing up, it was like, we did normal childhood things on the farm, farming and baling hay. I became the person who stacked the hay on the hay wagons and, continued to help with the family farm shortly after we got married. And then Rich and I had a few animals ourselves, and then he started the insurance business. And
nobody knows how hard it is. They watch these people out on the back of the hay wagons lifting those bales. Probably in the morning it's not too bad, but as the day goes on, those bales are the same weight roughly, but they get heavier as the day goes on.
They do.
Fred, tell me a little bit about you growing up here. What part of the area did you grow up in?
Sure.
And tell me a little of your history.
Yeah, similar to Cheryl, we had a family farm as well. My dad had a small dairy farm. We lived out by Winfield Lake, and I went to Tri-County as well, and ended up going to Davenport College after high school. Had a variety of business ventures. Actually worked for a grocery store out at Winfield Lake right after college, which led me into the real estate world. And then eventually got into tax and accounting, financial consulting, and that sort of thing. So yeah, long family ties to the area. In fact, the home we live in now, my wife and I live in now, my wife Joanne live in now, was my grandfather's first wife lived in that home back in the 20s. Okay. So just family legacy and community ties are really important to me and my family. So
there's history.
There's history.
There's history. You've been friends for a long time. Let's jump into what you came in here today to talk about, and that's the Community Fund. How did it get started? Everything has a starting point. So take me back to the group of whoever it was. How did it get started, and basically what year did that happen?
Cheryl's husband, Rich, of course, who's been gone for a couple years now. He and I led similar paths in our lives, our businesses. We had some common interest working with Helping Hands when Helping Hands got started. In 1999, we kind of were following the growth of the Greenville Area Community Foundation. And at that point in time, we were working with, connected with Betty Lynn Cass, who preceded Allison in running the foundation over there. The foundation had just maybe past the $1 million mark in assets at that point in time, and then they had a large donation from a woman named Grace Sagendorf, who was just a humble school teacher from the Greenville area, who left most of her estate to the Greenville Foundation. It really created the growth in the size of the assets of that foundation. So we met with them. They told us, hey, if we could raise $5,000, we could come up with our own little sub-fund underneath the Greenville Foundation. And along with Rich and Cheryl and some other people, myself and my wife. Chuck Halterman was also a very instrumental encouraging force in the starting of our fund here. It's been a slow process, but we're waiting for the Grace Sagendorf of Howard City to arise to give us some growth, and really a focus now on the continuing to build this legacy, if you will. And are shooting now for this 25th anniversary celebration, which is next year, where we're trying essentially to raise $250,000 by next summer, which would double the size of our general fund. There are some specific family funds as well within the Montcalm Panhandle Community Fund. So our general fund is about $200,000, and then there's roughly another $200,000 in other sub-funds of our community fund here in Montcalm County.
So it starts with an idea, starts with a couple friends talking and being involved in other local things. And you have been involved with stuff right along with Rich, but you've had your own, you grew up here, so you've got a passion for this. So what do you remember back when all this started to happen? What was kind of going on from your perspective?
It probably had been started for a few years. Rich and I celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary, and then we had these leftover wine because we made wine because Rich wasn't a beer drinker. So he goes, let's have wine at our 25th wedding anniversary. From there, him and I did what we called the Wine and Dine Dinner. And I want to say we hosted that for 8-9 years, raising roughly, averaging probably $10,000 to $11,000 per year, which helped grow the general fund of the Panhandle Community Fund, which was, it was exciting for Rich. I mean, he wanted to always, he thought in his retirement, this was going to be his passion.
Sure.
So in that, I guess I'm trying to carry on that passion that he had and seeing what I can do to help that grow as a community member, seeing the different projects that it has supported through the years, and, just trying to get the word out to the community as to what a community fund can do, what we are capable of doing with the support of our community.
Speaking of that, we talked about how it got started. What is the importance, or why have a community fund?
I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, again, it is a legacy building tool that we're trying to create here, but right now our grants are roughly up to about $10,000 a year. We've been doing them for 25 years. We've given out nearly $100,000 of grants in that time period to things for the libraries, the schools, parks, the village Ensley Park project there.
Fire departments.
Yep, fire
Well,
departments.
the chamber, Panhandle Chamber, had the expo, a small little thing that I was surprised that you told me that it was still happening.
Yeah, there's the scholarship from the
Panhandle
Chamber.
And I think that now that the Howard City Chamber is going, I have no idea. I'm not on that board, but I'm hoping that maybe they can continue to help fund.
Not on the board yet.
Actually, the real quick story is I'm forbidden to be on the board.
He has enough things to do.
My Brenda doesn't. She put her foot down. She said, "You can help, you can guide, but do not be a board member." So.
And I think that was one other thing that I think Rich helped institute. Like when Randy Fisher passed away, I think Gloria approached him, and that was how that scholarship became. And it's just trying to carry on those legacy of some of the people, is how some of the family funds have gotten started. And I know that's how, Rich started one of the scholarships under my name, was just he wanted to give back to the community as a business person for somebody who grew up in the community. He saw it as a way to give back, to help others, further their education and give back to the community also.
So the community fund is legacy. It's supporting local. And how can someone get involved? But before we answer that, I'm going to pause for a sponsorship break right now.
We'd like to thank our sponsors. West Michigan Technology and Design Solutions is your perfect choice for managed IT, website design, website hosting, and consulting services. WMTDS.com, 616-485-7600. Custom Vinyl Signs and Busy Bee Embroidery and Gifts is your one-stop shop for embroidery, vinyl, screen printing, and engraving needs go to cvsdbusybees.com or call 989-261-7446. And DW Video, your film and videotape specialist. They design websites and business videos that tell and share your story. dwvideo.com, 231-250-9624. Now, back to our podcast.
Welcome back to the Discover Montcalm podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Discover Montcalm Podcast or at www.discovermontcalmpodcast.com. You can catch all the episodes there. We're here with Fred and Cheryl. We're going over the community fund. And one of the questions that I had during the break was, okay, how do we contact you? If I want to give, somebody out there is listening and they want to give, what's the best way to do that? And you told me they can contact either one of you. So Cheryl, why don't you give us your number on where they can contact you?
Yeah, sure. You're more than welcome to contact me. I can go over, most of the time I handle the scholarship stuff. So if you wanted to contact me, you can reach me at 231-598-1615. And I'd be happy to answer any questions in regards to that.
And Fred, how about you?
Yeah, my number's 231-937-6758, and again, more than welcome to help in any way I can.
And you're underneath the Greenville Area Community Foundation, so what is their number?
Correct. We're a sub-fund of the Greenville Area Community Foundation, and their number is 616-754-2640. Cheryl or I or any of the staff over there can direct you as far as donations, how they're made, and through the website or mailed directly to their office.
How does somebody give, whether they want to set up a legacy or they want to just give some money? How do they go about doing that?
Yeah, they can send a check directly to the Greenville Area Community Foundation designated for the Montcalm Panhandle Community Fund, a general fund. If they're interested in setting up a donor advised fund, I'm not sure what the minimums are now on donor advised funds.
Yeah, when Rich and I started up, that was a minimum of, like, they were looking for 10,000 for minimum. Right now, most scholarships, like the ones that Rich and I had set up, were giving away at least $1,000 a year to a student. And so yeah, it varies. So depending on how much money you have in the fund, how much you can give away. But right now, the P Scholarship Fund is roughly $50,000, and I'm able to give away $2,000 scholarships, one to a Tri-County male student and one to a Tri-County female student.
So you have to build it up. There are rules, but that's where they contact you, and then you can work with them.
Yeah, they set up guidelines as to what they want their fund to do and qualifications for such. Yep.
So what are some of the projects over the years that you've been involved with quite a few. Is there one that kind of sticks out to each? I'll ask each one of you separately. Is there one that sticks out to you as being, wow, I'm so glad I'm in charge. Yeah, I'm part of this.
When we get an application for a grant, which we do once a year, we look at how many people benefit from those grants. If we've got someone that only is going to benefit 10 people versus 100, we're going to lean toward the 100-person benefit. We've been very fortunate to be able to donate to the schools over the years. The high school press box, athletic field, wrestling program, which I know is also very important to Rich. Also the Ensley Park with the village. So many people use Ensley Park. We were able to help contribute to some of the upgrades there with the walk and the I think the pavilion. I think was also the roof of the pavilion. Correct. So yeah, those are some of the things that we focus on. Which it's
So each year it's different. Because people have to apply.
Correct.
Right. The community fund is basically giving back to the community and giving resources that funding that makes it possible.
So I didn't mean to interrupt, but kind of right in that same vein, every year different people are applying. How is there a cutoff? Is it pretty set in stone that every year you have to have things in by a certain date? What's that process?
Yeah, we're at that point right now, actually. It's typically the middle of August where the deadline to apply for the current year grant awards for the general fund come into play, and then those funds are awarded typically in early the following year, like in January of this coming year. So we're encouraged. They started a new application process. Sometimes we've only had 1 or 2 applications to review, so it's really easy to figure out who we're going to award money to.
You're not in the back room flipping a coin.
Exactly. This year, I think we're up to 9 or 10 applications. So we welcome the fact that we can look at a bunch of different options for the grants.
We have a
Probably
committee of, 5 of us
Okay.
that meet and discuss them, and
Yeah,
See
we
what-
should give credit to Bill and Barb Rollins, who are also part of our original donor group, and Sally Nito from Community First Credit Union is another one of our board members that help evaluate our grants. So,
and she also helps with the scholarships.
Okay.
And then scholarships are given out in May, so we usually get together sometime in April and look at those applications, and so
So it's wide. You're reaching out more and more every year, and it has to be tough when it comes to having to pick who gets it and who doesn't in a particular year.
Oh,
I know
can be.
I was going to say, like Fred said, it's about, who is it going to reach the most?
Yeah.
Who's going to benefit from the most of it? And that's exciting for us. It's always encouraging to see what is going on in the community where there might be a need, and it can be very beneficial to understanding that. Sometimes you don't get all that information yourselves as to what's going on in the community. So just to
Well, I
see
think
different
it's,
things.
as I've been talking to you, and I've been, I like fun facts, and I didn't realize the two of you graduated high school together. And then when I learned you went kindergarten through, 12, I went, and to know that you're still in the same community, helping, there's a lot of, history there, and it comes right down to community. And I find that stuff, maybe it's because I'm getting older, I just,
Giving back to where we grew up, and
it's nice to see that. I'm going to ask you a question away from the foundation here for a second. Why should someone discover Montcalm County? And I'll start with you, Fred. Why would somebody want to discover Montcalm County?
I think there's a lot of uniqueness to Montcalm County. It's a nice blend of old-fashioned rural community, and yet there's still a lot of exciting things happening here with growth. We're not we're 30 minutes away from downtown Grand Rapids. You can be in the big city, quote big city, if some would not consider Grand Rapids a big city, but to us it is. And so I think we're just in a really unique area. There's a lot of great people here. We're looking to develop some of these great people and catch the vision of this legacy that we're trying to build for this community fund.
Okay. How about you? Why should we discover Montcalm?
I think Montcalm County has a lot to offer, with the ruralness, but close enough, like Fred said, to the bigger city. It's a unique place with us out here in the Panhandle, which is part of our name. We're not center of Montcalm County, but we're still here, and I just the ruralness is, we've got new school buildings built. I think there's some exciting things that can be happening in years to come here with what our school is trying to do and what other people see as a vision for our community there. Also, it's just, you have that rural, the ruralness is probably my biggest thing. I still like the hunting, the fishing, farming aspect of Montcalm County. And, as we see more, of the farmers markets and that stuff going on, I think it's exciting. And to hear what even downtown did throughout the summer, it's like, okay, every weekend there was something else going on Main Street, where they were closing it down. And I think that's brought people in, and it just that closeness that we can have. But most people, and even for Fred and Rich to become friends after Fred and I graduated together, and 7, 8 years later, it's like, oh well, I know Fred. We went to school together.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of unique how that relationship kind of built too, and just to formate that again, that you never know who's related to who or who knows who, because a lot of I think there is people here that grew up here and who have come back here, and Fred and I both started businesses here, and that was just part of it, and for us to give back to the community who we work with and who trusted us with financial things and insurance things has been special to me.
Yeah. So Pease Insurance and Trumpet and Doves, Is it profit and notes, tax prepar? Is it?
We do tax preparation.
Yeah.
We're serving about 1,700 clients out of our office every year now, and also financial consulting and some real estate work as well. So,
As we wrap this up, what haven't I asked that I should have? Or is there anything that you want to, I mean, you've kind of hit it. I mean, it's all community, it's all giving back, but is there something that we can leave the viewers and listeners with about the fund moving forward?
well, I'd like to just say thank you, Dwayne, for for these podcasts. It's been really great. I've listened to not all 51 of them or 52 of them.
Well, who knows when this one airs?
Several of them, and
Right.
you've done a great job. We appreciate the opportunity to have a voice through this, and we're excited about trying to hit this $250,000 fundraising goal.
Yeah.
We said, hey, 100 people for $2,500. That doesn't seem unreasonable, or 250 people for $1,000. We're working it hard, and we'd like some people to catch the vision that we've had for quite some time about what this really can accomplish in our community.
What can a community fund really do? If we looked at some of the things that Greenville's done, or even the Fremont Foundation has done, if people just could grasp that and understand that it only takes a little bit to grow, and
And
many
you're not
people
doing too bad of a job with what you have right now. I mean, you guys
Right.
have given back a lot. It's just that you want it, like everything else, you want to move forward. You want to be able to give
to
20
see it
years.
bigger.
Yeah.
Can we do the $20,000 projects instead of a $10,000 project or a $50,000 project? What do we see our community needing that we could help do with other people's help in grasping the vision that we've had?
On that note, remember to buy and shop locally. Thank you.
Connect and subscribe to Discover Montcalm Podcast at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Discover Montcalm Podcast. To be featured in an upcoming show, contact Dwayne at 231-250-9624. Remember to subscribe at discovermontcalmpodcast.com.